Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Ryan. Today I'm pretty excited because I get to dive into this. This is King's Family Distillery. This is the Ryeconic. And I've had this one time before because in our virtual bottle share that we did, which by the way, if you haven't gotten involved in our bottle shares, what are you doing? What are you doing? You should do it. We actually have one going on right now. All the samples have been sent out, so we should be getting cooking here real soon. I think there's 12 of us. So it's like you send out samples from one bottle, but you're receiving almost 12 whiskeys that we get to go through together. It's sort of like adult show and tell. So we'll get together in Discord with our cams and stuff, and everybody's going to have an opportunity to share their bottle with everybody else, talk about it, why they picked it, what makes it special, while we all taste it and give feedback on it. So it'll be a lot of fun, and we'll split it up, obviously, across multiple nights, because we don't want to drink 12 whiskeys in one. Well, at least I don't want to drink 12 whiskeys in one night, because I want to be alive the following day. But anyways, in our last bottle share, Karma Brady, who's in our Discord community, had sent out samples of King's Family Distillery Ryeconic. And it was fantastic. It was a real hitter. And he decided to go ahead and send me a full bottle of it. So thank you so much, Karma. Appreciate you, brother. As always, for being a member of our community and a big supporter here. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this. Get it poured, let it open up. We'll talk about it and what the story is here while it opens up a bit. Okay, we'll let that sit a minute. So, King's Family Distillery, who are they? Where are they? They're in Tennessee. Okay, it's a family operation there in Tennessee. It's a husband and wife duo. Both of them sort of came from the whiskey, well, not necessarily just whiskey, but the liquor industry. I think the husband did like moonshining, and then the wife helped run a firm that sold grains from a family farm to distillers. So, I mean, her family was raising grain for whiskey. And then they decided to go to whiskey together, which is a pretty cool story. I do believe they have their own still, but I'm pretty sure most of their stuff is sourced at this point. But it's not just as simple as let's just buy MGP. So I think it's like this specifically is made from the rye grain from her family farm, which is cool, right? Somebody else distilled it, but they provided the grains. And that's kind of why it's, an iconic, Ryeconic, play on words there. Mash bill for them. There's 95% rye in the mash for this, and that's pretty neat. But it's coming in at cask strength, so it's 109.3 proof. But here's the thing: it was finished in honey casks. So honey cask finish. What they do is they do grooved barrels for their finish, which is becoming more common. But the idea there is that you have more surface area of liquid in direct contact with the oak, with the wood, so you can get a little bit more flavor pulled out of the barrel in a shorter amount of time. I don't know how long it was finished. I don't think it says. But this is a honey cask finished twice barreled straight rye whiskey. Ryeconic. Oh, that's the story. I think a compelling story goes a long way for craft distillers, right? Legacy distillers, they don't really need a good story. Some of them try to lean into the story side of things. You have obviously like Jim Beam with their bookers and little book lineups. There's always trying to pay homage to their heritage and nod to different stories and their family history, and that's great. But a lot of legacy distillers, they don't necessarily need a good story to hook people. They just have very well-matured juice, right? They've just been doing it forever, so everybody trusts their product, knows their product. Craft distillers have a little bit more of a challenge in that they need to make themselves stand out, and one of the ways that you do that is by having a compelling story that makes you stand out against the backdrop of now thousands of craft distilleries here in the United States of America. Let's get right on in here. Holy cow, this is not bashful at all. Wintergreen mints right up front. Hit you like a wave. I think of juniper berries and pine needles, but there is this ever-present big influence here from the barrel. Just a ton of honey on the nose here, like a dripping wet honeycomb. There's also a little bit of a grain forward profile in here, so with the grain and the honey, it makes me think of Honey Nut Cheerios. Yeah, that's actually a great nose. This smells fantastic. I do tend to really get down with just unapologetic ryes. You know what I mean? Ryes that go big and they go bold. Some of my favorite ryes are on the opposite end of the spectrum. Obviously, like the Old Overholt 10 Years is one of my favorites. You guys know that. That's a low rye rye. I think it's barely legal rye. But then, on the other side of things, I love like the ASW, actually this way may be easier. ASW, Fiddler, Toasted Rye. That's like 95. I think that's a 95% rye as well, and that's killer. Love it. I like when they're big and they're brash and they're bold. Not trying to hide what they are. They're embracing it. This is like that. Let's try it. Cheers. I mean, right up front, it's like chewy, it's thick. Maybe chewy's not the right word for it. It's like that drippy, oozy, gooey honey note, you know what I mean? But it's the mouthfeel too. It's not just the honey taste. It feels thick in here and viscous like honey. Oh, I love that. And then that wave of that classic wintergreen mint comes along with those pine needles, very wintry on the mid palate, and then transitioning into the finish. I don't get a lot of oak, not a lot of like good seasoned oak on the finish here. It's mostly a lot of that honey and a note of like fresh cut grass. If I could say one thing, I'd almost say, give me a couple more years of age on this. You know, I think this one on the website, it says a minimum of 4 years. So we don't know how old the juice is. Some people have picked up bottles that they said were 7 years old. This one doesn't say anywhere, so I'm not too sure what the age is on this, but I don't think it's super old. Otherwise, I think we would get more of that good seasoned oak. And if there's one thing I would want on this, is just give me some of that good seasoned oak on the finish. I think that would go really well with the honey note that we're getting. That honey note just continues to be front and center there. It's like a honey sandwich. Honey up front, honey at the end, and then that big wave of wintergreen, spice, and mint right there in the middle. Kind of that juniper note that you get on a really good botanical gin, which I love a good, like, really botanical gin. All in all, I think this is delicious. I like this quite a bit. One of the things I do like about this, it's $68 MSRP for this. $68 whiskey, honey finished. You know, it's not like a lot of craft distilleries will often take a product like this and it'll be $90, $100 because you're paying that premium for the craft experience. And that's one of the biggest hurdles that a lot of craft distilleries have to face is their pricing. And they have to cover their losses. You know, it's expensive to run a craft distillery, so I totally understand it. But it is hard as a consumer to buy a lot of craft stuff, and craft stuff tends to be kind of pricey. But I do appreciate that this is under $70 for a bottle like this. And it delivers on what it's supposed to be, I think. It's not hyper complex. It's not doing something crazy innovative or new. It's just a really good, you know, sweet honey finished rye. And that's what it is. I will note that you can actually order their stuff straight from their website as long as you are not in Alaska, Hawaii, Massachusetts, South Dakota, or Utah. Anywhere else, I think they ship to. So if you ever are like, you know what, I think I should give that a try. Boom. Go to their website, pick up a bottle. Last I checked, they still had some Ryeconic in stock, but it is a seasonal rye, so it will come and it will go. So with all of these things in mind, let's give this thing a score per our scale. So considering the price, solid execution, all of that, I think I'm going to come in at a 7.7 for this, right? It's really good, okay? Really good. I think if you ever have the chance to try a bottle of this, you're looking for something to pick up, consider it. Consider this on your list. A good honey finished bottle can sometimes run you $100 or more. So to get that experience here for under $70, I think is a pretty solid deal. That's a good, fair deal. And that is King's Family Distillery, Ryeconic. I've had some of their light whiskeys too, courtesy of Karma before too, and that was kind of a neat experience as well. It's sort of a new budding category of whiskey. So if you want to, maybe if I remember to later in the editing, I'll find a link to my my light whiskey reviews and put a link to that in the description, maybe in the pinned comment too. Anyways, thanks Karma for sharing. Appreciate you, brother. Very kind of you to send me this bottle. If you want to get involved in our community, feel free to check out our Patreon group, our Discord group. Our Discord is free to join. The Patreon, the lowest tier is just $1. I mean, it's basically free. So feel free to check it out, get involved, meet some new people. If you like us, you want to stick around longer, feel free to do so as well. We'd love to get to know you. Come say hi in the Discord. Until then, cheers, my friends. May you live richly and get better with age, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.